What is going on, guys? It's your boy Void here, and today I want to talk about how do we evaluate these software engineering offers, these tech job offers. A lot of people who are into finances are also in tech. There's a huge intersection between people who are in tech and people who frankly like to make money, because if you guys didn't know, tech pays a lot of money. What I mean by a lot is a lot of these companies are paying six figures, plus a signing bonus, plus a stock allocation. I'm gonna let you guys know what to look out for if you get an offer. That way, when you receive this 30-page behemoth of papers and it has a bunch of legal terms and you're like, oh crap, I don't know what a vesting is, or I don't know what a whatever is, I got you. Don't worry. The first thing I want to talk about is deadlines. Deadlines kind of suck because usually you don't have too long before you have to accept an offer. It can get difficult to make sure that you get multiple offers at once. I know the goal is to get one offer, but once you have one, don't stop there. Do not stop. Get another one. That way you can leverage them against each other. You can start negotiating these bad boys against each other, and they can start bidding on you like you're an eBay item. So that you have more options and you know what different benefits are at different places. Getting your deadlines to align is very difficult. Make sure that when you're interviewing, you know the process of where you're interviewing. And that's pretty easy to figure out if you just Google interview process or watch this video here. And you will figure out what the Google interview process is like. You really should figure that out before you start interviewing. That way you don't get hit by 9 technical interviews, 2 weeks to do them, because that's just not going to happen. The next thing I want to talk about, and this is usually everybody's favorite, we're talking the money, the salary. So these are big. Salaries in tech are big. They can range depending on where you live from. I've heard people making $50,000, $60,000, upwards to $150,000 as a new grad from college. So these salaries are big. Whenever we're talking about starting at $50,000, oh man, you already know we're in for a good ride here. A salary is usually composed of 2 things, at least in the offers that I've seen. The base salary, that's how much you're going to be making before taxes, and make sure you account for taxes, because if you're going to California, you're gonna end up paying a lot of taxes, state tax, and then cost of living. It's a lot. So while your base pay might be a lot, make sure you know what it is post-tax. That's very important. The second thing that is inside of like the salary portion is usually some kind of annual bonus, some kind of performance-based bonus. This will usually range between 5 and 50% from what I've heard. That's a huge range. It really depends on the company you work for. Some companies are very like, we want to increase our profits. We are a hedge fund. Our entire goal is to make more money for our investors. There's nothing wrong with that, but they will heavily incentivize your performance by saying, hey, we'll give you 40% of your base salary extra every year if you meet your expectations. And we'll give you 50% if you exceed your expectations. Not all companies will offer this performance bonus, and it really is a luxury. We are very fortunate to be able to be in this field that is performing well and pays out this much. So the next thing I want to talk about is called a restricted stock unit, or an RSU. Some people just say, hey, how many stocks is the company giving you? And that's not entirely right. You can't just say that, because it's a restricted stock unit, which means you can't really sell it right away. They have this thing called a vesting schedule or period. Vesting is basically when the stocks will be paid out to you, because before that vesting date, you cannot do anything with it. It's monopoly money, basically. And some companies will offer you RSUs when they're not even a publicly traded company. So that's very monopoly money. Like, that is the definition of monopoly money. So if you're going to work for a company, Let's say Airbnb, they're not publicly traded, but they're doing pretty well. Well, maybe not now, I don't really know, but they're recovering, it's okay. And you're expecting your base salary is 100K, and you're like, oh man, I'm gonna get these stocks every year, and they pay me $20,000 in stocks, so I'm basically making $120,000. That it's not really the case, because you don't know when the company's gonna go public. So you could be in a situation where you go to this company, you end up not liking it, and you want to switch to another company, but if you do that, you lose out on 40, 60,000 because you've been working there 2 years or something. Just be careful with that. It is a risk. There's high reward in that too, though. Even with some of these bigger companies, I know a lot of the banks like Bank of America, Chase, American Express, a lot of them will say, hey, we're going to give you $16K a year or something, but you have to stay 3 years with us. Like, none of it vests until 3 years. On your 3-year anniversary date, it all vests. So then you kind of get the golden cuffs where you're kind of stuck in that position for the next 3 years. And that's not always a good thing. I mean, there are less fortunate situations to be in, yes, but you don't want to end up working somewhere where you don't enjoy, because you're going to be spending a lot of time there. The next big thing I wanted to talk about is relocation. Kind of tricky, especially right now. So a lot of companies will give you some kind of stipend to relocate, or sometimes they'll even just pay movers for you if you have to go within or outside of 50 miles of your permanent residence. These relocations can be really, really cool. Some companies will even put you up in an apartment for 3 months, 6 months. I've even heard of a year before. So make sure you look at the relocation. Make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. Relocation is very expensive if you have a lot of crap. If you have a lot of stuff you want to move, it's going to be expensive to get all of that moved yourself. That's something that you should look into in your offer letter. See if they offer that at all. If they don't, you can ask your recruiter about it. Say, hey, is there any kind of relocation? I know this is going to be expensive. Moving from Texas to Boston is really far. Can you guys offer me any relocation? And something like that. That can be something that you can negotiate, that a lot of people don't usually try to negotiate. Another thing is the signing bonus. This is really where there's a big difference in a lot of high skill, high paying jobs and tech jobs. So a lot of these tech jobs pay a big signing bonus. And when I mean big, I mean yikes, big. It can range, of course. I've heard as low as 20K, and I've heard as high as, what's the highest I've heard? 150K. So, and that's for new graduates. This money, this can be life-changing money, honestly. If you have a lot of debt, you can pay down your debt. I don't recommend doing that, actually, and I'll make a separate video about doing that. You should not pay off all your debt immediately, and there's some math behind that. Actually, comment down below if you would be interested in figuring out how to pay down debt if you have the money. It might seem simple to just use your whole signing bonus and just eliminate the debt. But there is a smarter way to go about it to protect your credit score and maximize your profits. You do have to be careful though, because a lot of times if you leave a company within a year or 2 years, you have to pay that money back, which if you've already spent it and you have to come up with 100K, that's kind of tough. That's a tough situation. Don't put yourself in that situation. Make sure you look in your offer details and figure out how long you have to stay with the company to use that money. Some companies will give it to you in payments. I've heard Amazon will give you 20K and your first paycheck, and then another 30K after a year or two of working there. There's different structures. Make sure you understand your structure specifically. These next ones are really good for those who are trying to negotiate stuff, but don't think they can negotiate any of the dollar value items. The first of those is going to be PTO, or vacation days. So that's paid time off, and when you're working, you're going to want to take paid time off. You're going to want to go on a trip to Europe. You're going to want to spend time with your family and relatives, going to wherever. It's going to happen, so it's great if you can try to maximize your PTO. If you say like, hey, can I get an extra 10K in my signing bonus? And the recruiters tell you, no, we can't do that. Say, okay, well, could we do 3 more days of PTO? Because I think that would be equivalent to that 10K that I'm not going to be receiving for that first year. And maybe there's more conversation and leeway there. It just depends on the company. There's a big thing, especially for families: health, dental, vision. Oh my God. The United States health, I'm not even gonna get into it. I don't even want to get into it. Health, dental, vision is expensive. If you have poor eyesight like me, I got contacts on, so you can't tell right now. But if you got poor vision, and I want to go to my local glasses place, my Lens Crafters, it's expensive, especially if I want all the bells and whistles. I want to get that thing souped up. I'm not going to be able to afford the Batmobile of glasses, or at least I'm not going to want to pay for that, because it's going to come out to $250 that I don't want to spend. But if you have a vision plan, that's awesome. If you have a dental plan, take care of those teeth. I use Colgate. No, I don't. Actually, I don't really know what I use. If you want to sponsor me, Colgate, my DMs are open. Yeah, so make sure that you understand what kind of health, dental, and vision benefits you're going to be receiving. Figure out if you have to pay a certain amount and the employer will pay the rest, or if you have full coverage. Awesome. Make sure you understand those details, because those are very big, especially the health insurance part, especially in the United States. The next thing I'm going to say is other benefits. So when you evaluate your offer, it's not all about the total compensation and how much money you're going to be getting, because everyone has a different goal. Everyone has different like lifestyle stuff. Me, I like to come home. I like to play video games. I like to watch football, and I like to record YouTube videos and help other people out. But if I worked for a company that was working me 60 hours, 70 hours a week, I couldn't do it. I don't even want to work like 55 hours a week, 50 hours a week. I'm okay with 40, 45 hours a week, and that's kind of where I like top off. Past that, I am not interested in it. So other people, they are like, okay, well, I'm young, I don't have a family. Maybe now's my time to grind, put in my 70 hours, get a fat salary, and try to retire early. That's a very real goal, and there's nothing wrong with grinding out, especially whenever you're younger. You don't have a family, you have less commitments, less dependence. That's a really big thing. Some other things you might want to consider is, how often are you going to be traveling? Are you going to be traveling at all? Are you able to work from home? That's a big thing. Do you like your team? Do you like your location? You better like your location. You're going to be living there, most likely, unless you're able to work remote. If you're working remote, do they give any other benefits? Do they give you $1,000 stipend for furniture? And do they reimburse your internet expenses if you're working from home? These are big things, especially right now. And a lot of companies are starting to get a little bit better about their at-home benefits. Some of the other benefits that are pretty important, depending on specific circumstances, you're gonna want to see if they have any kind of child services. Maybe they reimburse a certain amount of daycare. That's become a thing that's rising. Maybe your company is great, they give you free lunch. Maybe your company is really great and they give you free breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Maybe they have some free snacks around the office. That's a big thing when it comes to your day-to-day. You don't understand how much some crunchy Cheetos will change my day and get me in the right mindset for getting through a bug in some of my code. So you want to know all of these things going in. You also want to know some of the more important stuff: maternity leave, paternity leave. Whatever your case is, you have to know what benefits are available to you and see if you can negotiate those around. These are sometimes not talked about because everyone wants the fat salary, but you got to talk about them. if they affect your life and your well-being, you got to talk about them, and you got to talk about them with your recruiter to make sure that you can get the most benefits you possibly can. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. I'd appreciate that so much. I don't want to have to negotiate with you guys to get that subscribe out of y'all, but I noticed 74% of y'all are not subscribed, so I'm going to have to figure out how to negotiate with you guys. Maybe I'll have to drop my offer letter for Google or Facebook later on. Y'all let me know in the comments below if that will get you to subscribe, all right? All right, thank you guys. See ya.